Good morning. I had to say it in a silly way because I said it in a silly way in order to test the volume level before I actually hit record, and then it felt like a betrayal of the process to not repeat it for the actual video. So, good morning. It is 7:34 a.m. on Tuesday, February 1st, 2022. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just took a shower. This is 5 more minutes. Yeah, I'm going into the office today, and for whatever reason, I felt like I wanted to go ahead and get showered before I recorded the video today. So I did. Last night we had our first in-person session of my in-person D&D game in a while, and it went pretty well. We had a scary monster fight that had been built up for a long time, and then my character, who is a fighter and just does uh, buttloads of damage, uh, did a lot of damage to it very quickly, and the fight was a little bit anticlimactic, but in a fun kind of way. Yeah, it was a good time. It's nice being back in person there, and yeah, so that was good. Um, I don't know. I'm just trying to like what are the things that have happened to me. Uh, I am still playing Hot Wheels Unleashed, although I have noticed I've talked about this in the past that they have this what they call racing season, where you get these little daily missions that are all like there's only a handful of them, and they're not terribly difficult to do. Like there's only 3 a day, and they only recycle. They have like maybe 6 of them total, and so it's kind of random which three it is on any given day. But I have found that that's kind of just a nice bite-sized piece of that game that I like doing every day. Kind of like Wordle, honestly. Maybe I'll talk about Wordle in a second. But uh, so in the last racing season, I had to come to uh, a level of peace because I realized that I was not going to be able to reach. Like I started that one late and wasn't going to be able to reach the top level before the season ended, and that meant that I wasn't going to be able to get one of the little cars. And the only way to actually do it would have required hours and hours and hours and hours of fairly repetitive play, and that just didn't seem fun. And there was this completionist tendency in me to want to get to the top, but I just realized I just started too late. It's just not feasible, and to achieve it would have required playing the game in a way that it wouldn't be fun. And at a certain point, it's kind of like if I had put in all of that time just to get that one little checked box for a little toy car in a video game that wouldn't even be the car that I would use to race with because its stats are not as good as one of my other favorite cars. That's like I had to take a moment and really think about that. It's like, would I really feel like all that time was worth it? I don't think so. But by contrast, the subsequent racing season, I got in right at the beginning, and I've been doing the little quests every day. But I've noticed that there have been a couple of days where it doesn't sort of reset. Like it doesn't tell like the 24 hours goes by, but it doesn't give me the new little daily missions. And I wonder if there's somehow each day, if you're above a certain level, it doesn't give you new little missions or something. Because like I said, I never noticed this before, but just this time around when I've been doing them every day from the beginning, there's been a couple of days where it won't let me do new ones on a certain day, and I don't know if that's like a glitch or if it's intended to keep people from advancing too quickly. And I don't know. It's a little annoying. But I mentioned it briefly earlier, just speaking of things that, it's fun to have just a little bit every day of, Wordle has continued to be fun. But the big news yesterday is that I guess the New York Times has bought Wordle. And so now everybody's really worried that they're going to ruin this one little bite-sized piece of joy, because the Wordle was such a fun kind of story that it was made just by one guy who kind of made it just for his partner, that and it was just this fun little game that's not too much of. It's just bite-sized because you can only do one word per day, and everyone gets the same word. And then there was an easy way to kind of share your score without spoiling. And so that's why, of course, everyone's kind of playing. And now people are worried that, like, the New York Times is going to come in and mess it up. Like, they're going to, put it behind a paywall or put ads on it or something like that. And probably those things are more or less true. I suspect, my prediction is that what will happen is that the current version, where you can do just one per day for free, will remain available, only it will have subtle little ads on it. Or like a little pop-up that says, hey, if you want to play more Wordle, you can subscribe to the New York Times Word Games app. And in the app, you can play like over and over and again as much as you want. And I think that will break the spell, because first of all, playing it as much as you want, although certainly some people will probably play it a lot, because, it's almost a little bit frustrating in a tantalizing way to only have one per day. And so to have more available, I'm sure a lot of people will play it more, but it will stop being this shared community thing like it was for a little while. But, it's one of those things where, like, good for that guy, gets a paycheck for this fun little thing he created. That's nice. And it was a nice little community joy thing for a while. And you know what? Who knows? No reason to be overly dire before anything has actually changed about it. So, in the meantime, I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes. I actually just want to circle back around again to that one little thought, which is to say, I think it's important as a life skill to say, just because, even if we knew for a fact that Wordle was going to be transformed in a way that made it no more fun, it hasn't actually changed yet. And you can be sad about knowing that something's going to end, but you shouldn't let that prevent you from enjoying it while it's still going. And that can be expanded to all sorts of things, including just life in general, because, none of us have permanent life. So just because it will end someday does not mean that we shouldn't try to enjoy the time that we do have. So, everyone, if you've been playing Wordle, it's okay to be sad if you think it's going to change in a way that you don't like. But until that happens, Wordle is still the game that you loved. Or hated, depending on how you felt about it in the first place. I'll talk to you again tomorrow for 5 more minutes.